All right, so welcome everyone to Intuitive You on Oneness Talk Radio. This is Abby Gooch, and I'm so glad you're here this morning. Thank you for your patience last week. For anybody that tried to log on, we had technical difficulties, but we are here ready to serve you at 9 a.m. Pacific every Monday. And today is a really special day. Almost surprised. So this woman who I'm about to introduce is somebody who actually lives in San Diego. And I recently moved back here. And this woman, we connected months ago. And it was an instant, intuitive connection. Like, I see you, I got you, be on my show, whatever. Like, so deep love. And she's so intuitive that she actually thought I was in San Diego 2 months before my physical body was here. And ironically, and better spoken intuitively, she felt my spirit being here 2 months ago, which is when I knew I was supposed to be here. It just took me a little while to catch up. So my point in telling you that is this woman's so intuitive, so loving. She has been through so much in her life, and she is serving so many people now. And her gift is sharing how people like us are so intuitive. And sometimes it's hard to be that, right? Because we feel things so deeply. And her message in just one simple sentence is, your sensitivity is your strength. And I know for me, if something's really intense or hurtful, my body will shake. And I told her, we actually had the privilege of meeting for dinner last week. And I said, when I feel like one person, it's like I feel 100. That's how strong my sensitivity is. And I know I'm not alone. I know we all have that sensitivity. So without any further ado, I want to let her introduce herself and share what I just shared with you about her, and just dive into this conversation about sensitivity, intuition, being empathic, and we'll probably, of course, add a little bit about kids at the end. And she has 2 beautiful kids of her own, which I'm so excited to get to meet and work with. So Karen, welcome to Intuitive You. So happy you're here.
Very much, Abby. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, and it's going to be so much fun having this conversation that I think needs to happen more often. I am a highly sensitive person, intuitive empath, like all of it. I know you are too. It's always connect with like-minded people, like energetic people. But I typically work with women who are empathic, and they're really trying to reframe their experience around their sensitivity. They've grown up feeling weak, feeling less than, feeling broken, feeling like there's something wrong with themselves. And when they learn that there isn't anything wrong, and they learn how to manage their energy versus being drained of their energy to everything else going on around them, then they can accomplish their goals. They can have healthy relationships, and they can pretty much be unstoppable. So that's who I work with. I've taught some courses on that, and I do some coaching work. And most recently, I've started to open up to working with intuitive children, highly sensitive children, because I feel that that's an area, especially right now in what's currently going on, there are a lot of different issues for the kids and their parents that are bubbling to the surface. So that's another recent passion of mine. But I just love helping people realize how powerful they are from within, even if at the beginning they may feel not so strong, not so sure of themselves because of how they've experienced life so differently than the average person.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? How do you teach people how to manage their energy?
Yeah, the first thing is to really get connected and grounded in the physical body. Because what happens with a lot of people who are empathic is there's not really any filter energetically from the environment around you. So, if you happen to be highly sensitive, that's a little bit different than being empathic. But highly sensitive is just, 20% of the population, highly sensitive nervous system. They acutely feel the emotions of others. They're sensitive to textures and sounds and smells and things like that. But on the empathic side of it, it's really learning that your abilities that go beyond the boundaries of space, time, and tangible worlds are real, and that they're not crazy. So knowing that and reframing that reality for themselves, then they can start to ground into their body so that they have a stronger foundation and they're fortified from within. So because a lot of empaths are just bombarded with everything around them, sometimes they are not only feeling the emotions of other people, but oftentimes, and in my case, I felt the pain in other people physically, and similar to you, when there's really intense energy, I shake as well. It's like an uncontrollable quaking. It's like I can't even get the words out. So it's like things like that if you are grounded and centered in your physical body, because this is really where we're on earth as human beings. We need to live in this body. And a lot of empaths are so spiritual. They're so connected to other places, the unseen, that they're kind of more out there. And a lot of the people that I've met, are ungrounded in that they can be very spiritual, but it's like it's good to have that practical, grounded type of awareness, because that actually helps the intuition. Right? It helps to be grounded in yourself. Otherwise, if you don't have that center, it's really hard to interpret the information that comes in, right? Is it mine? Is it theirs? Like, where is it coming from? Is the environment? So it is really, I use like a mindfulness practice to help my clients really tune into the beating of their heart, the breath as it goes in and out of their nose, as their belly rises and falls. And we really take some time to slow things down. In everyday world, it's just fast paced. There's information overload. And we really need to, as empaths or highly sensitive people, step back from that to, I wouldn't say recover, but to rejuvenate, to recalibrate our own energy. So sometimes, in the beginning stages, we just start with 5 minutes of sitting, and we can call it meditation, or we can call it just being present in the physical body. And, you can pay attention to the beating of your heart, which is going on 24/7 every single day of your life. So that constant and that consistency, that energy of life that's always going on in the body, it's a reminder of how strong we are, how much we have support within ourselves. And so sometimes just sitting there 5 minutes, tuning into the beating of the heart, sometimes you can hear the beating of your heart if you just are sitting in stillness. And we rarely give ourselves the opportunity to sit in stillness. And it's interesting because once people sit in stillness, they become aware of so many other things. They become aware of what they really feel about what's going on in their life. They become aware of aches and pains in the body, things that may need to be cleared. So another type of mindfulness meditation is tuning into one of the 5 senses. So that's one that I like to do with my students, because it's just a way to use our physical senses to become aware of what's going on moment to moment. And really having that, because we're already aware acutely of many, many things, but the experience that we have for ourselves is very important. And so that mindfulness helps to nurture that connection with themselves.
So when you say one of the five senses, you mean like tuning into like what you're hearing and just that for a few minutes? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So I have a daughter she's clairaudient, which means that she hears spiritually. And one of her favorite meditations is mindfulness of sound. So she will sit with her eyes open and be in stillness, but really kind of notice what she's hearing. And sometimes it can be helpful to close your eyes if that kind of makes the hearing more noticeable. But it's simply listening to what is present, and you start to hear the fan in the background, or the weed blower outside, or the ruffling of papers in the other room. There's so many things that when we slow down, our brain and our nervous system has a chance to recover, and it has a chance to not be in this fight or flight mode that a lot of us find ourselves in when we don't know how to ground into the physical body.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So beautiful. And I love that by tuning into one of the five physical senses, it's actually opening our intuitive spiritual awareness. So like your daughter, to tune into just the audio, she actually said she can hear, right? So it's like, when you're connected to your intuition in the spiritual sense of even beyond the physical, you're tapping into these other realms that are quote unquote in the moment unseen. But I know, Karen, you and I, and I'm sure a lot of people listening, have seen things or heard things that have happened, right? Like One Heart Global, right? I saw the kids before I met them. So those images, those hearing things, all of those things that we quote unquote see inside ourselves actually do become reality, right? So just listen and trust what you receive. I think that's one of the biggest things, right? Like, I believe and know we're all intuitive, and the difference between actually living that way or not is A, like I said, trusting, and B is taking action on those things, right?
Mm.
So, oh, I have this inspiration to work with kids. Oh, okay, I'm going to lead a retreat. Oh, I'm going to talk to that orphanage. Cool. Action leads to result, right? So to actually trust and take action.
Yes, and I find that the trust issue is a huge barrier for a lot of people who are highly sensitive and empathic, because they've grown up being conditioned not to trust what they get, right? They haven't been validated in their younger years, and so they've learned to kind of filter that and censor that. So as people learn how to ground into their body, ground into really what's true for them, whether it's of a physical nature or an unseen nature, spiritual nature, it's really important to learn how to trust that, right? I mean, as you said, it is the difference between an empath who feels like a victim and an empath who is empowered to create the future and the life that they want. There's a huge difference there, because I was that victim many years ago when I didn't know how to manage my energy and channel my energy, intuitive energy, into creation. It just felt so challenging. It was very messy. And, to clean that up is to really start to ground into who you are, spending more time with yourself, with nature, like really simplifying everything. And then, like you said, when you take action or you get an intuitive hit, you listen to that. And the lovely thing, the fun thing about it is you actually start to attract different people, different circumstances that are in alignment with what the direction that you're going toward. So make sure that it's a positive direction, not a negative direction, because there's that too. It's like really being aware that we have the power to create the life that we want. And we're always supported. And a lot of the information that comes in is about things that we don't even know are going to happen yet. It's things that are beyond our dreams. Even if we have a really great dream, like, this is what I want. I want to live in this city. I want to have 2 kids and 2 dogs. Like, you have this vision, right? So it's good to have that vision. And it's also it's helpful to notice that when you have that vision and the belief that it's possible, then you bring in all of this other help, I call it, just kind of spiritual help, because spirit or the universe, however you want to look at it, wants to support each and every one of us. There's enough great positive energy for everyone. It's just a matter of really rising to that higher level to kind of grab onto that. I'm thinking of a bus or a, where you grab on and you hold on. It's like, you're just, it's like, what are you grabbing onto? You want to make sure that it's moving you toward what you want. And then all the information starts coming in seemingly out of left field. But like meeting you, or some of the amazing things that have happened in my life have not been by plan. It's just been, I could say, by design. My intuition is all a part of that, and my spiritual help is a part of that. But yeah, I mean, there's so much power that we have once we realize how powerful we are from within.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And something really helpful that I've used for myself, and also just students and clients, just even friends, anybody, kids, anybody, is the intuitive yes or no. So to feel what truth feels like, because you said, you become more you ground into your body. Yeah. So I just invite everyone to just ground in. So placing a couple hands on your heart, breathing in love, feeling our connection to everyone and everything through this power of love within. Then taking a few deep breaths and bringing your energy down into your center, a couple inches below your belly button, right to that place of knowing within, the truth within. Like people say, the truth will set you free. So notice the energy of truth in your body. And you can even say what your name is to yourself, right? Like, my name is Abby. I feel truth, right? And you can say your name out loud. Notice how that feels, right? Your body has energetic resonance with truth. It's in alignment, right? Just like Karen said. So as you feel truth, and for me, I just see the light illuminate my body. So notice what it is for you. And then you can ask, what is my inner yes? So you can say something that is true for you. Like, I can say, I love Karen. And my body goes, whoop, yep. And then I could say, like, let's see, what's the thing I don't like to eat? Like, I can think about something I don't like to eat, right? And then my body just gets like a no, kind of like a sludgy, heavy feeling. So notice what your no is. What's something that is a no for you? And notice how your body feels. And the reason I suggest doing this is, like Karen said, sometimes we're picking up other people's energy. We're picking up the energy of maybe even where we once lived or live now, right? Like I was talking to Karen about, part of the reason I needed to move is the energy where I was living wasn't really conducive for me, the way my energy works. I'm a water sign. I hate the ocean, right? So just notice what, right? We both do, hence being in San Diego area. So notice what your inner yeses are and nos are, because, when I started my wellness, and I think I was like 19, and I started seeing the energy, and I saw the way our field works. And basically it's like you are kind of the source, right? And so you have these ripples of energy, and it comes from spirit, then it comes into your mental field, then it hits your emotional, then your physical, then your intuition. Right? Your gut knowing, and that says yes or no. And then it brings it into reality. So when you get this like spiritual thought, right, or insight that comes in and it passes through the mental, it's a yes, and it's still a yes emotionally, still a yes physically, intuitively, done. If it's not resonant, right? Hence, let that thought go. Oh, that's not mine. Return to sender, right? Oh, something isn't in alignment about being here. Okay, I'm going to move in this direction for now. right? So just notice how you're constantly being guided. And then what Karen said is you can live your dreams and beyond what you even think possible, right? And you're using your intuition to move you into alignment with what your soul already knows, right? It's like the sun wakes you up in the morning. You're like, oh, the sun already knows it's going to rise. Your soul already knows where you're going. The job that we have is to move in alignment with it, right? And our intuition is like, yep, go here, go here, go here. Yes, yes, no. Yes, yes, yep, no, right? And then you just keep going, right? Isn't it fun? Do you have anything you want to add to that? But that felt important to share.
Yeah. I love the kind of the layers, getting into each of those layers and doing that check, right? With each layer. I love that. I think that it's important for people to learn how to discern, what is good information. Is it coming from a good source, or is it coming from a source that's not good for me? Because as empaths, we pick up so much stuff, and it's really important to ask yourself a question like, is this coming from a good place? Or, is this mine? Because a lot of times it isn't. It doesn't mean you're not supposed to listen to it. Like if you walk into a place and you don't feel safe, right? That's not yours, but obviously you're going to want to turn around and walk out of that place,
Right.
I listen to that intuition. But, it's just learning how to just feel into what really resonates for you at a particular time. And it can be quite fun. It can be quite fun to kind of play with the energy, because it's always there. And I love that, just the symbol of universal energy of the sun and the predictability of that. We don't have to do any work for the sun to rise. And
Right.
so intuition wise, there's not a lot of work that we need to do. There's always information coming in, but if you're grounded, you have more discernment around what to do with it, trusting, and being able to take action in a really confident way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, I'm just being with it because I can feel there's a certain solidity when you feel the information, it resonates with truth, you're embodying it, and then you're living it. And it's like an inner confidence, like it's funny. Like I remember when I started, people were like, I think my first client was like over 50, right? And people would be like at networking meetings, like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? You're so young, like go to college, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whatever, like, cause I had this inner confidence. It wasn't like I'm amazing, flaunting myself. It was a knowing. So when you come from your intuition, there's a knowing that like not only sets you free, but puts you in alignment with your soul and helps people, because that security can't really be shaken. Like you can feel it for a minute, like we're talking, you can shake if you feel like sensitive energy, but that inner core knows. And that's what I love about teaching this is like, you can't go wrong because you are who you are and you're freaking awesome. Like you're perfect, So like, you're just coming back to more of you, do you want to add anything to that? Because it is fun in that sense, right? When you take the like label and condition off of right and wrong and all of that, you're like, I just get to be more of me. And it's really amazing,
Yeah. And when you are trusting and you're connected to your who you really are, then you actually radiate that energy outward, which is the beautiful part about it, because as we are all connected with one another, those signs that we send out, and we can think of it energetically, we could think of it subconsciously, or even directly, but we're always sending out those signals. So whatever energy that we vibrate at, and whatever truth that we know within ourselves, it truly shows, it radiates out, and people can feel it, people can sense it, and they respond to it.
Totally. 100%. And I think it's like in your business, in your life, like I'd love for you to kind of help people maybe focus on one area that they want to create. Cause it's like, it's so true. Like we get to create, we're creating. So like, I don't know, it's just coming through. Like, let's help people create.
So, I believe in the power of words. We're both NLP practitioners and master practitioners. So it's like, we know the value and the power of words. And so when people do affirmations, they create an affirmation. You want to make sure that it's in the present tense, right? So present tense with the right emotion, the emotion that is toward what you want to create. So I remember when I was manifesting my husband. We've been
manifesting
later. Yeah, this works. Okay. I created an affirmation. It was almost like a statement of claiming the reality that I wanted, which was, I'm so grateful to have a handsome, kind-hearted man who cherishes me. Okay. Or I think it was like be in a committed relationship. I was very specific. So I'm so grateful to be in a loving, committed relationship with a handsome, kind-hearted man who cherishes me. So it was and I just memorized it. It's been a few years. Had to kind of go through the mental memory there. But I would say that. So I created that statement, and it's really important for people to define precisely what it is that they want. And even though there might be some twists and turns along that journey, or maybe what they manifest is slightly different, I can say that that's who I married, So it's really powerful to get all the qualities, all the ingredients, everything that you want, and focus just on one thing. You don't want to have this whole list of like career, relationship, you could, but what I find is the most powerful is when we laser focus on one goal that we have for that period of time. And then when that goal is achieved, then you can move on to something else. So that's one part of it. Create a statement, positive, in present tense, with emotional energy that's positive and includes the result that you want. And so that's one part of it. And then another thing was that I did, which was really amazing, is to just kind of sit and imagine what that would feel like. So what would it feel like to have that person in the next room? Like if I'm reading a book or just doing my own thing, because I love to do my own thing. Like I'm very much an independent person, but it's just feeling the presence of that loving, kind-hearted, handsome person in the other room, and just really using my imagination, like children do, to start feeling what that would feel like. And then what happened, I did this quite often. I started, and I told you this, I had people who thought I was already married, and I wasn't. I was, I didn't have a ring on my finger, but people thought I was married because I was really embodying that energy of the reality that I was moving toward. So I want the listeners to know that the brain and your energy doesn't really know the difference between what is truly a reality in the here and now versus something that you imagine in your head. So a lot of times people think, well, it's just in my imagination. Well, think about the things that you've imagined or worried about that have happened. It's like there's a part of us that we always need to be responsible for what we are creating. So it's just positively, when we think about what it is that we want, then we've already set something in the future, something for our energy, for our intuition, and our unconscious mind to track as we move forward. And signs come in here and there, and that was quite a journey. I didn't meet him first person that when I was dating. He was not the first person or even the third person that I met. So there was a discernment process when I had set that dream into motion. So it's knowing what you want, being very clear on what that is, and stating that in the present tense as if it's already yours. 2 is embodying that energy. Use your imagination. It doesn't have to be the way that I did it, but you might visualize something, you might hear the sound of a voice, you might just just be creative with that. And then it's, of course, taking action and then using your own discernment along the way, because usually it's not a straight path to what you want. I think that's one thing people think, like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, it's not working. And so just having the trust that you are manifesting that, like, it is yours already because you claim it that way. And that's how we co-create.
Yeah. I'm just taking it all, and it's so beautiful. And it reminds me of, I love that we're both intuitive and NLP practitioners. But when I first learned NLP, it was like, where do you want to go? So like, if you're in San Diego and you're going to Las Vegas, like there's a road to get there, right? And it's like point A to point B. So we can use our mind, like the intention, really successfully. Like imagine it, know where you're going, decide. And then marry your intuition. You have intention and intuition, and you marry those together and you manifest, right? Like, I think it's the proper use of your mind, right? Intention marries intuition. It's one of the things I teach, because I feel like it's so easy to say. It's another thing to do and live. And I totally agree with you. It's constantly the discernment. And then, to see somebody who's living it and that, like, it's so beautiful. And, you inspire me and so many people. And I think that, as we all continue to live our dreams, we're inspiring everybody around us, because it's that presence, right? It's that solid presence of, oh, she's doing it, he's doing it. Oh my God, I can too, right? And so it's just so fun to like come together and empower each other. So I don't know if there's anything you want to share. And I know that you have an amazing following. If people want to reach out to you, if there's a way that you want to introduce how they can work with you or anything like that. I know you have a show coming up too. So go ahead.
On as well. Yeah, it's so much fun to be connected with people who have worked through their own stuff and have learned to use their intuition and their own inner guidance to really create the life that they want. And I love what you say about the work that we're doing. It's just it really ripples out. It touches a lot of lives, and each life that you touch, then they go out and they do something different. So it's just a really beautiful ripple effect that is happening. The best place to reach me is at healinginbloom.com. And that's where it's just my website. You can see all the different things that are available. There's some free resources as well. And when I think of the name Healing in Bloom, and I guess I can share this because my business, I really used my intuition on this one, Healing in Bloom just kind of came out of nowhere, right? Kind of sounds like, excuse me, what happened with you. I'm like, Healing in Bloom. Well, that's beautiful. I love flowers. They've always been a really powerful, intuitive symbol for me. And I've always loved healing. It's really what I did for free when I was in my teaching job. And I loved my teaching job, but I always knew I was supposed to do something else. I just didn't know when, so I was in my comfy teaching job, and then I was, there was nothing wrong. It was a great place to work. I loved my colleagues, loved my boss. And it was like, just doesn't make sense for me to leave right now. I've got everything how I want it. And, it was very hard for me because every staff meeting that I went to, I started having this incongruence show up where I'm like, who are these people? I don't belong here, and it was this really powerful reality shift for me, because it was almost as if my intuition was saying, like, you're right. This is just, it doesn't feel right because it isn't right. And, shortly after I had a back injury where I had to be at home. Like, I literally couldn't stand in the classroom. And it took a couple months for me to heal from that. And during that time, my intuition was like, this is your exit. This is your exit door. And so I want to share that because the information and the way that things show up is not always rainbows and unicorns and feeling good and all this stuff. Sometimes in our most challenging times, we are given such clear guidance. And if we listen to that, then it can really expand into something that is truly meant for us. So to conclude that story, it was in January, so right before we went back from winter break, and I had to make a decision. My boss was reaching out to me, and I resigned. I retired early under good circumstances. It was just, if I were to go back, what my soul would have done is like just shrunk down, and it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just because it wasn't the right fit for me anymore. I was 40 years old at the time. And I thought, shoot, I've always wanted to start my own business and do something that really feels aligned for me, that I came here in this life to do spiritually. And I wasn't doing it. I couldn't do it with the high school kids that I was working with, right? There's only so far you can go with that. So I've done that for about 15 years. And I'm like, I've served a lot of kids. I've helped in that way, but now it's like time for me to explore this dream. And there's no time like now. And I would never walk away from my job because everything was great. So really Spirit gave me a new road, not in the most ideal way. But then that's where I got the name Healing and Bloom came in. And I was already working with flower essences. So that was one of the healing modalities that I loved. And it just really resonated. So I went ahead and did that. And I started my business in March. So a couple months later. And, it was a bit challenging because I didn't have that salary coming in anymore. So it was really a leap of faith. Did not make sense. And that's the point that I want to share, is that a lot of times when you are being compelled by your intuition or your soul to make a choice that's for your higher good and you don't see the results, it is a leap of faith, and you don't see those results until you take action. And that's kind of the part that people get backwards, right? I need to see the evidence before I move. And no, you don't get to have that a lot of times. Sometimes you do, sometimes, but it's like most of the time it's really trusting. And I think that that's a way for us to be able to grow within our own connection to spirit and ourselves.
Yeah, I love what you shared. So I was just like, ding, ding, ding. So I just invite everybody to just maybe take a look, like a witness from an unconditionally loving place in your life right now. And is there any area that's out of alignment where your soul is saying one thing, but you're doing another? So like, I'll share what I did. And Karen, and a lot of you know, because I'm pretty transparent, for the last 2 months, exactly what happened. Karen, is it was like, I'm feeling my body's telling me one thing, which again is our soul. It's our intuition, right? Our body is the messenger.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, go here, move. And I wasn't listening. I was listening, but I was fighting it, right? I was listening. I heard it. I was clear. But I was like, no, it's really pretty here now. It's Oregon. It's the summer. I want to stay. It's so beautiful. How did I not see this beauty earlier, right? Like all this stuff. So resisting, right? So maybe you're aware, but you're resisting. For me, I was resisting. But what happened is similar to you. I started getting sick. I stopped eating. I was losing weight. My parents were calling me like every 2 hours, like, are you eating? Because like my body was like just spiraling down. Like I couldn't do it. Like as much as I was fighting it, it like wasn't going to happen. Yeah. And so it also reminds me when I left my scholarship in college, didn't make sense, right? Didn't necessarily make sense to move other than I knew that I needed to. It's like a small studio compared to a 3-bedroom house. Okay, does that make sense? Not really. But from an intuitive place, it does. If I'm meant to be here and my spirit, as everybody knows, is happy, your spirit is happy following your purpose. Everybody listening, your spirit will be happy when you follow your purpose. Has it been rainbows the last couple of months? No. Did it feel like rainbows when I got here? Yeah. But the letting go, oh my goodness, it was like pulling teeth. And so I think it was like the attachment. But my whole point in saying this is like, my old business manager used to tell me that. He's like, even if he's like, you like the guidance that you want, but if you don't like the guidance, you don't listen. He's like, you got to trust your guides, even when it's not what you want to hear, right? Because you're right. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Like our intuition knows, but we're like, oh, I think I want to do it this way, you know? But it's just so comforting to hear, Karen, that like you're someone else who's living it and has lived it, and like, and now you're experiencing the results. Like, and I'm so grateful to be here, right? Like a block from the ocean. Like I'm so blessed, right? But it's just sharing the journey of like what the body goes through and the emotions and how like confusing that can be, to be like, you're not alone in that. Whatever that experience of transformation is, I believe it's clearing out the old. It's clearing out the old conditioning. It's clearing out what we think versus what we know. I don't know if you have anything to share with that, but that's what it feels like is
Yeah.
there's a
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're good. You're
Okay.
good.
So as you were saying that, it just made me think of the fact, or my experience anyway, is fact for me, that the spirit and the soul, you said it knows. Yes, I totally agree with that. And also, when we get that guidance, it's the human part of us that's just like, I don't know about that. I can't really see how that's going to happen. It doesn't feel good. Of course, it may not feel good, but is it right? Is it in alignment? And you can still get that yes. Like, I can totally relate to what you're saying, where it's like, okay, no salary, no business. I literally had nobody on my list. Okay. Didn't even know what I was going to do. Had no offer. Like, it was so, just did not make any sense at all. So that's the best kind of intuitive, because there's a knowing that, God, this doesn't make sense. And my human is just like digging her heels in, scared, scared, worried, like not knowing how everything's going to unfold. But then it's just rising up to that higher level of the spirit and the soul, and that knowing that I'm going to take this first step and give my resignation. I'm going to take this step and I'm going to research some online business coaching, like whatever, taking steps, not knowing exactly. And then you're led to the people that are going to move you toward where you're actually meant to go on a soul level. So I love that distinction, because the human part of us, that ego part of it, we just want to be safe. We everything to be cushy. Yeah. And people who are highly sensitive and empathic, that just brings a whole nother intensity to that experience. So,
luckily we all have each other. Seriously, clients, friends, family, like we all have each other.
I know, it's a blessing. Yeah, there's a lot of us out there, and lots of fun stories to share of what is possible. But it is a lot of times you feel like you're going through it blindly, and it's not the case though. You're always led if you can listen and trust.
Yeah, it's fun to do, and I don't recommend doing this unless you're like inside a safe place and not near a street, but you actually close your eyes and you feel around a room with your heart. You actually feel everything from your heart. So it is in essence blind faith, because you're feeling everything from your heart. Did you ever play that as a kid? Like my brother used to put blindfolds on and be like, okay, just feel around. And I did something similar when we had live classes. And it was like, yeah, you just feel. And then your heart is like, oh yeah. Oh, here. Oh, yeah. Right. Talk about clairaudience and clairvoyance. Like you're just feeling it. And then you open your eyes and, oh my God, you're with a beautiful new friend named Karen. You're at the ocean. The sun is shining. Right. And you're like, oh, thanks. Thanks, heart. Thanks, intuition. I've arrived. Right. So to me, blind faith is like opening up to your dream. It's the miracle that's waiting for you. Like I literally step on a sidewalk that says miracle on every corner. No joke. No joke. I'm like, oh, okay.
I love it.
I do too. So it's 9:45. I want to open the phone line. So I'm going to give everybody the call in number. It actually is my cell phone, you guys. So it's 858-692-4555. The reason why, there's 3 5s at the end. The reason why is we're doing some technology stuff. I got a lot happening with technology and things. So until we get it going, you guys can call me at 858-692-4555. So 3 5s for the show, the last 15 minutes. So if somebody calls in, we'll answer. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking. But I just want to make that available to anybody that needs our help this morning. So, all right, Karen, where should we go from here? I'm just seeing like a light path, the intuitive path, and the steps on the journey, just having the courage to take them, like what is that next step for you? What is your quote unquote blind faith next step? And like, what do you need to take that? Like, how can we support you in your soul's journey? So, yeah.
I did.
Yeah, I know. I feel you holding the space. So, and I feel like that's the universe, right? Like you said, the universe is like here supporting us. And it's like, okay, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And really from a deep, deep level, it's like, how do you want to feel and the purpose being fulfilled? Like, it's not just like, I want a bagel. It's like, I want the bagel because it nourishes me, right? Like, what's that deeper energy of the difference you want to make? Is there anything you want to add to that, Karen?
Yeah, it's really that embodiment of having it before you have it physically. And that's what helps to manifest it. And it really is such a powerful practice. And I say practice because it gets better. You get better as you practice it. And using your energy in that way, your emotions, your physicality, all of it to start creating that energy around yourself that really starts to pull in the information and the circumstances that you need. So, start opening up to that possibility that, everything that you are doing right now is helping you to manifest what it is that you want to create. So sometimes people ask, like, how do I know if I've manifested in the past? And it's like, just, if you just look at your life right now, right now is a manifestation of everything before. Okay, go ahead. Someone calling?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Shoot. It's echoing. Okay. Sorry. Can you hear us? This is Abby. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, so sorry. So Karen, can you hear this?
I can. Yes.
Okay. Can you hear us?
I can hear you well.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. I'll relax in my little technology trauma. Okay. So how can we help you this morning?
Well, hi, Abby. This is Sarah in Oregon, and I talked to you a while back.
Okay.
I connected with you through Soul Mirrors with Kira Raw.
Oh, awesome. I love Kira. Awesome. Welcome, Sarah.
I know, yes. Hi. And you guys, I don't even know how I got on my YouTube and found you there, and I'm just listening to your beautiful guests sharing what I'm going through right now. I just quit my job, and I'm terrified, and I'm unable to hold on to anything that I have accumulated, my home, my belongings, my children, being able to care. Like, it's been really a rock bottom kind of moment. That has also been an absolute miracle, because it's been the end of an era of pain management and pushing myself really hard to get through many big accomplishments that I needed. And so it's a moment I've known was coming.
Yeah. Karen, I feel this is your sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting how you said that you knew it was coming? You knew. So it's like, as difficult as it is, and there's a lot of heaviness that I feel there. I can feel it in my heart. So, if you're open to trying, I don't know if you've tried like loving kindness meditations at all, but what's coming through is just a very simple loving kindness, where it's May I be free from physical pain. May I be free of emotional pain. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. And you say, you just kind of say it to yourself in quiet moments, using the energy of the heart. And then I would use it with difficult people, and all beings. You can really start to wake up that heart energy and that loving energy within yourself, because you're already guided. We already know that. It's just how can you start to harness your own energy so that you can get more leads in the positive direction that you wish to go. Is there something specific that you want to do?
Oh, great feedback and great question. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes, actually, what is coming forward for me is a vision of a community that I'm the mother of. And it's such a deep sense of, yes, this is my third family.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. It's bigger than I'm seeing. I'm feeling into it. And then contracting into, well, oh my gosh, what do I do from right here when I don't even know anything? Right directly in, like the blind in the room. Wanting to lift up, to feel into the joy of the vision and let go of the details. The details are getting louder.
Feels like next steps to take, what just feels right, just the next step. Not so where you're going, but what's the next right step? Like for me, it was, okay, just take this one move. All right. Actually, I started visiting. So Karen was right. Sometimes you do get a little message like, just go in this direction. You get confirmation, just take a tiny little step. And my sense was we're all family. So you're tapping into what I feel is like one heart, right? Which is our global community. We're all connected at the soul. So when you tap into that, there's no fear. And the truth is there is no fear in intuition. Intuition itself will not be fear-based. All the fear is the attachments, just like you, I've had, right? How's all of it Karen had with her job. But those are mind. Your intuition, when you drop into your heart and your gut, it knows only love, right? And I don't know if you're on my list, but you should join at lifeforceconnection.com because I have an email about this.
I am.
Yeah, read the email in like 2 weeks. I wrote it, and it's about intuition having like no fear. Because like Karen and I, like we get, and like you are getting guidance, like all of us. And we're like, oh, follow it. Like she's supporting me to follow guidance that I don't necessarily want to hear. She's like, Abby, you're getting that for a reason. And quite frankly, I'm a little scared to share what's on my computer, but it's the answer to the question of why I needed to leave for a little bit of time. Karen, I'll tell you later. Yeah, it's bizarre. So it's kind of like we are being given messages all the time. There's no fear in it. Just trust what you know. And we're all family. We are all held in that same one heart of love.
Another thing that I'd like to add is that when you ask for that next step of guidance, and even when you know what it is that you need to do that maybe you don't want to do, start to ask for guidance from, it could be your higher self, it could be whatever spiritual source that you can really connect to. Ask for that guidance to show up to you in a way that's very, very clear. So, if you are a person who focuses on things that you see or hear, or know or feel, like really ask for the specific guidance, spiritually, intuitively, for you to feel more aligned, more connected, without a doubt, as you step forward, just for that one step. Because a lot of times the intuitive information comes in, well, most of the time, randomly, like seemingly randomly, like something just popped up on your computer, Abby, right? It's like there's confirmation, but before that, we're getting all these different signals. So it might be something you hear on a radio. You might be standing in line at Starbucks and someone's standing behind you talking about something that was meant for you to hear. It could be something you see as you're walking or watching, something on YouTube. But be open to how the universe is really putting in front of you what the next steps are, because they're always there. They always are. So just be open to asking for that specific guidance. And I know that you'll be like, yes, I've got the next step, and then on to the next.
Yeah, it'll build confidence too. When you take that one step, you get that trust in yourself. And like Karen said, she knows, she's great at seeing. And then it's like the next and the next, and you'll build, and grow. Yeah. Healing and bloom, baby.
Guys, thank you so much. I want to just recognize that this right here is a miracle for me. This is absolutely a moment that I am being spoken to and was just somehow magically led into this conversation. And I feel you both right here so deeply. And thank you so much for the gifts you're bringing.
You're so welcome.
And I feel that you'll be bringing gifts to many, many other people as well out there. There's something specific that that you're meant to do. You've known this for a long time. So I would suggest, starting small. I was just inspired to share that if you have any kind of social media or something of that sort, where you can just start posting about some of the information that's coming in, some of what inspires you, you can really start to connect to that community that's already out there waiting for you, people that you're really meant to work with in the future, and starting to build that up. Because just as you kind of came upon today's show seemingly by accident, there are people out there likewise who are going to need your guidance and your spiritual wisdom that can only come from you. So, that I just felt, I wanted to share that with you, because I feel you can really use this online world that we have at our fingertips to grow that.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
I
Thank
love
you so
that.
much.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
really
Good.
This is all extremely helpful. I am receiving this at so many levels, you guys. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. You're welcome. So just one more thing. You're welcome to whatever you want, if you want to stay on or not, just to announce to everybody, before the show, I went into a deep prayer that everybody that needed to hear this would be here, that Karen and I would say what we needed to for the audience and for each other. And so to hear you say that you found us by some quote unquote miracle, the miracle is you, it's us, it's all of us, and the power of prayer. So love what Karen said. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. And add on that, I recommend prayer. Go into deep meditation, pray that you connect, because what happens is, as I started this since I was a kid, like you start from the heart, you send out this ripple, right? And like that visualization I was saying, where the energy comes in, it also goes out. So once it resonates, it ripples out from your intuition, physical body, embodiment, just like Karen said, out to your emotions, attracts like energy, out to the thought form, attracts other people in that thought form, and goes out into spirit. So as it comes in, it goes within and it transforms out, and then it attracts. So exactly what we just said, you do it, like it's going to happen so fast. So it might be good to pace yourself and just take one step at a time, right? Because it is integrating. So my guides are like, and we're done. So yeah, because then I'm like, and we're going. But that's the last piece, and we love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Namaste, love. That's fun. Okay, so we just have 2 minutes, Karen, and actually I'm probably already over. So can you share really quickly, I know you have a show coming up on, like, I want to say the empathic child, but it's not. It's with empathy and somehow children. I don't know. Can you just tell me where your show is, when it is, and how people can get onto it?
So I'll be launching a summit coming up in November. It'll launch November 13th. It's called the Integrated Empath Child. And it's focusing on children who are highly sensitive and who are psychic, and are, parents that are looking for strategies or ways to support them to manage their energy and really embrace their abilities, so that they can grow up happy, healthy, and strong. And the way that you can join us, it's going to be in November, but you can go ahead and sign up if this sounds like something that would support you. It is at summit.theintegratedempath.com/child. So again, it's summit.theintegratedempath.com/child, and you'll receive an email confirming you're with us. And then once we launched it, Abby's going to be on there as well as many other experts who are empathic leaders in this world and are going to give you their best stuff for free. So I hope you guys can join us.
Me too. All right, everyone. It's 10 o'clock. We got to get off because I know they have somebody else on the station. So I love you. Thank you so much, Karen. I just welcome everybody to join that. It's going to be amazing. And we'll talk to you next week. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Bye.